This is just an update on this Supreme Court reference concerning the vote of no confidence moved by the leader of the opposition. It was brought to the Supreme Court by the leader of the opposition, Douglas Tomuriesa. Now, tomorrow, Monday, the 29th of July, would be an interesting case where a 5-man Supreme Court bench would sit to hear a motion by the Attorney General Pilaningi. Now, it's going to be moved by his lawyer, Dane Mel. Essentially, what they're asking is to set aside the orders by Justice Derek Hudson made on the 19th of July. Now, these orders set previous orders aside and made that all procedural applications and the substantive hearing on the reference to be held on August 1st. Now, those orders on what would happen were issued, and the opposition were really happy about that. Their leader, Karen Gakua, actually spoke to the media after the hearing. They want an expedited process, hoping that a decision could be delivered before Parliament sits again in September. Now, they hope that if the decision is in their favor, there will be an opportunity for them to move a vote of no confidence against Prime Minister James Marape. They are still keen and very serious about that. Now, you would remember that there was a move by the opposition to amend the Supreme Court reference. Pretty much they want to change a few details that they have in that Supreme Court reference. Now, that matter came before Justice Derek Hudson again for a directions hearing. Now, Justice Hudson ruled that he could not make any decision because the Supreme Court rules are quite silent on what happens after a person brings a Supreme Court reference to the High Court. And one of the first things is to look at legal standing. Is the person who brought the matter has sufficient interest in what he's bringing to court, or is he just wasting the court's time? Now, you would remember that the Supreme Court ruled that Douglas Tomuriesa is a member of Parliament, he's a leader of the opposition, he's got some very significant interest in the matter or the issues that were brought before the court. So they gave him, it was a unanimous decision that they said he had the legal standing to bring the matter to court. Now, after that, the opposition decides to amend. Now, Justice Derek Hudson essentially said the rules are silent. He could not make a decision on that to allow them to amend. He suggested that a full bench sits and makes a decision on that. Now, that option has now been halted. The opposition probably thought it would just prolong the case, so they decided to withdraw that move to amend the reference now. So it now pretty much hinges on that 19th of July ruling that every procedural case and the substantive hearing would be held on August 1st. Now, again, they said this would be an expedited approach there, and they are happy about that. Now, things have changed a bit because the Attorney General have now filed a notice. Well, he's interested in filing an application to dismiss the Supreme Court reference. Now, they say in the interest of justice and fairness that the case to be heard on the application to dismiss this reference should be heard separately and before. It has to be said one after another. Now, they have applied in that motion that the dates set by Justice Derek Hudson be set aside. And that is where we are now. So on Monday, 29th of July, a full Supreme Court bench would sit and hear that motion by the Attorney General that the dates set by Justice Derek Hudson can be vacated. This is where we are now. Per Justice Derek Hudson's orders, all matters will be heard on August 1st, which is just 2 days away from the 29th of July. All right, that's just brief on what's really happening at the Supreme Court reference.